That's Not How by David A. Miller. Alex ran into the room shouting, "Mum! Mum! Did you know dinosaurs were here millions of years ago?" Alex's mum was so surprised, she threw the bowl of pasta that was in her hands up in the air. But their dog Bruce was super happy. He loved pasta. "Alex, that isn't how you come into a room. You scared Mummy." Alex looked a little confused, but shrugged it off and ran back out of the room. Alex's dad was working on his computer when Alex jumped into the room shouting, "Did you know that crocodiles are basically dinosaurs?" Alex's dad was so surprised he knocked his coffee all over the carpet. But that cat was happy. Mr. Whip loved coffee. He started to lap it all up. Alex's dad said, "That isn't how you come into a room." But before his dad could say anything else, Alex skipped out of the room. Alex ran into the living room and said, "Nan, Nan, did you know that turtles can live for 150 years? Alex's Nan was so startled, she knocked her puzzle off the table. Alex's little sister was sad as she'd been trying to reach them on the table for the past 5 minutes. Alex's Nan turned to Alex and said, "That isn't how you start a conversation, Alex." But before she could finish, he had hopped away. Alex ran into the yard where his dad was taking strawberries off the bush and shouted, "Dad, Dad, did you know pigs can't look up to the sky?" This made his dad knock the whole basket of strawberries off his lap and across the floor. Bruce the dog had been waiting for this and he scoffed up all the strawberries. Alex's dad said in a serious voice, "Alex, that is not how you start a conversation." Alex said, "Okay, Dad," and ran off. Alex ran into the classroom after break, shouting at the teacher, "Did you know there are sharks in every ocean?" His teacher was standing on a ladder at the time, hanging up a poster. She wobbled off the ladder and she landed on her bottom with a thud. All the children laughed. "Alex," his teacher said in a firm voice, "that isn't how you come into a room. Do you understand?" He nodded and went and sat back down. Alex saw his best friend skipping and had to tell him what he saw, so he ran over to him and shouted, "Do you know that howler monkeys can hear up to 3 miles away?" Alex's friend fell over the skipping rope and tumbled to the floor with a crash. "Alex, you can't run up to people like that. I nearly jumped out of my skin." Alex smiled and said, "Sure thing." One day, Alex was sat in the hall and one of his classmates threw the ball at him. The ball bounced into his face and knocked him flying. Everyone laughed at Alex. "Hey, that's not fair. You can't just throw a ball at somebody." His friend shrugged and ran off. Alex was eating some popcorn in the cinema with his family when suddenly his dad popped up behind him and said, "Hi, you enjoying the film?" Alex was startled and nearly jumped out of his seat. "Dad, you can't sneak up on people." His dad said, "Yeah, okay," before returning to his seat. Alex was in the middle of brushing his teeth when his baby sister suddenly grabbed his leg. That made him jump and he smudged toothpaste all over his face. Alex turned to his little sister and said, "You can't just grab people." His little sister smiled and said, "You look funny," and walked off. Alex was laying on his bed reading a book when his mum walked in and tipped laundry all over him with a smile on her face, saying, "Avalanche!" Alex dropped his book and rolled off the bed onto a pile of dirty laundry he'd been collecting. Alex wasn't very happy. He lost the page he was on and he had a smelly sock on his face. His mum smiled and walked away. Alex was sitting reading a book when he read that pigeons can see 360 degrees. He went to run and tell his mum, who was doing the folding at the time, but then he remembered what she had said. So he bounced into the room and in a calm voice said, "Mum, did you know pigeons can see 360 degrees? His mum was amazed and said, "Thank you for telling me." Alex was in the garden riding his bike when he saw a cat walking across the fence like a tightrope walker. He ran into the house, but he remembered what his Nan had said, and so he walked and calmly said, "Nan, did you know cats can walk like the people in the circus on the tightrope?" His Nan smiled and said, "I didn't know that. Thank you, Alex. Alex was stroking Bruce and watching a program about turtles when the man on TV said, "Turtles breathe through their mouth and some can even breathe through their bottom." Alex thought this was so funny that he fell over laughing. He laughed so much that he didn't even need to run into the room and tell anyone, because his mum and dad and his baby sister came into the room at the sound of him. He told them what he had just heard, and then they all laughed. The end.
Thank you for reading with Storyberries.com. Free stories for kids.